Hello, I'm Julia Fisher, and you're listening to The Olive Tree, the programme that tells the stories of both Jewish and Arab believers in Jesus living in Israel and the wider Middle East, to find out what God is doing in the region despite the tension and conflict there. My guest today is Labib Madanat. He's from a Jordanian family but spent much of his life living in Jerusalem. After studying in Iraq, he gave up what could have been a lucrative career in irrigation to become director of the Palestinian Bible Society. That was many years ago. And today he's director of Bible Society work in the entire Middle East and oversees teams of both Palestinian and Jewish believers. We met recently in the Alliance Church in Jerusalem, built in 1890. It's strategically placed in the city and has played an important role over the years, as Labib now explains.
Indeed, the Alliance on 55 Hanevi'im or 55 Prophet Street is a building built 1890. There are some wonderful pictures of how things were carried to the place, and horses and carts and so on, when they were doing the building. And it stayed until today. Actually, the Alliance also owned another building, 56 Hanevi'im, and now it is home for the Messianic Assembly congregation in Jerusalem. This building served as a ministry training institute back in the 30s and the 40s. And actually, some of the Alliance pastors who went to the greater Middle East went out of Jerusalem, and so out of Zion. The good news went forth as well. You could say this about this place, this building. It served as the first base for Israel College of the Bible, and now it is also the base for the Kaspari Center for Jewish and Christian Studies, in addition to a beautiful big chapel which is now available for a number of Messianic congregations. Many times it is used as an interim place, but it's a place for the Lord here in the heart of Jerusalem indeed.
And perhaps today it represents what God is actually doing here. It's a coming together of Arab Christians and Jewish believers.
Yes, indeed. And the Alliance always had their ministry here among the Jewish and among the Palestinian or the Arab. And now there are a number of ministries around the country, ministries in Jerusalem here, in the Old City, in Arad in the south, in Beersheba, in Ramallah as well. And every year also the Alliance brings together all of the believers from all of those places together for kind of like an associates conference and so on. But this is the new reality. This is the heart of what is happening now, what the Lord now is doing in the land of bringing believers together. Like I say, reconciliation in action.
This is something that's been on your heart for many, many years. Your primary work has been with the Bible Society in building up teams on both the Arab-Palestinian side as well as the Jewish side. So how has it progressed since you began?
It's such a joy now to work with the team, what we call it, the Bible Lands team of Arab, Israeli, Palestinian and Messianic believers together. And to see really how much we can not only come together, but enjoy coming together as a team of Arab and Jewish believers. And there is no lack of wonderful ideas on our plate now of ministering together. For example, we're talking about reaching the Bedouins in the south jointly. Already the first Arabic Hebrew Bible has been published. And now we are taking copies of these Bibles to seminaries and teachers in the Arab world, in Jordan, Egypt, and even Iraq. We're taking these to church leaders in those areas and teachers. Because I lived in my life, when I came to Jerusalem and I started learning Hebrew, the language, it had a big effect on me. Because this is also like the language of the good news that came to us in a way, especially the Old Testament, sure. And so having the two languages together will diffuse something, will melt something. Trying to speak, even as a baby, try to speak the other one's language, but using the Bible for it, will definitely have an effect on our attitude towards each other.
That's a very interesting point, because if you don't speak the other person's language, there's absolutely no communication, is there?
Yes, predominantly in the land here, you find Arabs speaking Hebrew more than Jewish speaking Arabic. But that's simply because of the reality. The government is Israel and so on, predominantly Jewish, so that's a need people have. But there is a growing desire among Jewish believers as well to speak Arabic, I believe, especially as they now go outside Israel and have opportunities to mingle, to get to know, to visit Arab believers in surrounding countries. It has become more and more a desire to speak their language as well. So I look forward to what this Bible will do.
But both these groups, the evangelical Christian Arab Palestinian groups and the Messianic Jewish believers, they're both very small in number. They're growing, that's true, but is reconciliation a priority or is survival the greater priority?
I don't like to use the word survival as a priority personally, because I don't believe that survival is our destiny or is our mission, nor even our responsibility. Our survival is in the hands of God. That's it. We are in the hands of the wonderful shepherd. No one will take us out of that hand. Our destiny is to serve, not to survive. And we'd better do it together. So the more people engage in, say, reconciliation in action, the more they enjoy that, because there's a special impartation of the heart of God into us when we come together. This brings pleasure to the Father more than maybe anything else, to see the children coming together. And we saw that recently. There was a gathering in Jerusalem, a worship gathering, and because it took place around Christmas, New Year, Christians in the West Bank have had permits to come to Jerusalem. So there was a gathering at Shem and Sasson congregation with a number of ministries, including Musalaha as well, and Shem and Sasson, and Alliance Church in the Old City. And it was an evening of worship in Arabic and Hebrew. It was heaven on earth. It was the Jerusalem maybe that we all look forward to.
Does that happen very often, or is this something new that is just really starting to happen here in Jerusalem?
There were some initiatives and so on, but I see more and more desire, more and more openness to this, to live reconciliation through worshiping God. Everybody was singing and dancing, and it was really, for me, it was the highlight of Christmas and New Year, definitely. Much nicer than any gift I received.
Our listeners may be surprised to hear that people can put politics to one side in that way and come together to worship God and want to be there.
Politics is everywhere. And so in spite of politics, we come and we worship and so on. And we know very well how we differ politically from each other. But so what? We differ. Everybody is different from everybody in some way or one way or another. So if our differences are the reason why we should not be united, then no one will be together.
So are you saying there's a new determination in the hearts of the people to come together more often and as often as possible?
There are some practical challenges in movement still, but there is a growing desire, definitely. For example, and maybe you will have this chance to talk to Areas about it, Israel College of the Bible. It's predominantly Messianic Bible college, but they have that desire to have Arab and Jewish students at Israel College of the Bible. Now, Bethlehem Bible College with the new president, Jack Sarah, sitting together with Erez Soref and talking about cooperation and how they can come together. Things like that. This is good. This is good.
So what do you believe God is doing amongst the body of believers here in Israel and the wider Middle East at this time?
On the Messianic side, there is a new desire for a new kind of evangelism, rather than using traditional ways of evangelism. try to do it differently. Think not only of what we want to tell the people, but to know where our societies are, the Jewish society, and reach them where they are. The Palestinian church is pregnant with so many people, young emerging leaders, which is for me a sign of great and wonderful hope. And they're people of character, of determination, of full commitment to God. Their sole purpose is to see the kingdom of God come among the Palestinians. They have no other goal, no other desire whatsoever. And so God is working this among the Messianic believers, among the Palestinians, and some, like I said about Israel College, about some new expressions always of ministries coming together. Andy in Tel Aviv wants to do an outreach. He would love to invite Arab believers to be with them. I told you about Beersheba, thinking of going and doing things together there. And such ministries, always there is desire to be together. I cannot say that it's an overwhelming movement, but definitely it is a deep desire coming together. And the other thing is this: sometimes reconciliation is born out of a sense of conflict on both sides. Other times reconciliation comes as a sense of a desire, attraction to unity and missing each other. This is what I see now new in the land.
Labib Madanat, and we'll hear more from Labib on next week's story. And if you'd like to listen to this program again, please visit our website, olivetreefund.org. You're listening to The Olive Tree with me, Julia Fisher. And the Olive Tree Reconciliation Fund is a Christian charity based in the UK that supports the needs of both Jewish believers and Arab Christians living in Israel and the wider Middle East. So if you'd like to know more about our work and receive our free bi-monthly newsletter, either visit our website, olivetreefund.org, or write to me, Julia Fisher, at the Olive Tree Reconciliation Fund, PO Box 850, Horsham, RH12 9GA in the UK. I'll be back at the same time next week for another story from the Olive Tree. Until then, goodbye.